Yes.
Cool. All right, creative filming content, love it. All right, so we're gonna try to teach through Pat to Colin the Pat lock from the back, the shoulder lock. And so we've got the camera set up. I'll move the tripod around, and then we'll kind of talk through the gripping sequence and things like that, and then we'll try to throw you on it and show you how to do it. So cool. I'll grab the camera. You gotta go down in side control.
Yeah, if I can go down other way. I like it from here. I get this gift wrap grip. Before I learned this, I was using this double hand grip a lot, but it's a lot smoother to do it with just a Kimura grip. So I'm just pressuring behind the shoulder here. I'm gonna pillow his head with my knee. I was also stepping over completely before. I don't even have to. I'm just gonna lift up my right knee and give him some space for his hips to fall. And then come around like this. So I'm hooking his leg here with my right leg. I'm just getting this on top of the shoulder. And now I'm here, and I just have to switch. See, it's confusing to switch the grip. So this hand that's on the Kimura side switches to the brother grip. And I just pinch his elbow into my ribs. And I can just pinch my knees together. I should get a tap.
Yep, so with that, let's go back to the grip sequence and show that again, just the switching. So from
Here.
from the gift wrap,
Yeah.
and then just pulling over the head and letting that arm slip is the best way that I can describe it, down to the elbow. There's no change there.
Yeah, so it looks like here first.
Yep. And then rotate around the front of the palm as you grab it. Yep. Feels very natural once you find it.
Yeah. Usually they're going to be resisting a bunch here. Like he doesn't want me to get his arm around. I just have to kind of get his elbow to the mat first. That's first priority, and get his hand behind his head. And then I can do whatever I want with this. I can switch into this becomes easy. And then I just got to make sure I'm going to do it gently, but I'm going to suck his elbow into my ribs here. Boom.
Cool, and then as we start making the submission tighter, so let's lock it back up. Now let's start adding like a knee pinch down with the top leg, so it's gonna drive us into his head and his neck, almost pushing his face to the mat, and then crossing the legs. So bottom leg crosses over top, bite the heels back, yeah, and it gets much tighter as you add that. Colin, can you try and, so we're placing the feet high on the hips so that you can't jump up and lock his legs off of your body. And then just feet down to the triangle and finish the submission.
Oh, so like this?
Yep.
Yeah.
If he starts pushing the arm, top leg down.
This is fine, yeah.
Yep. If we go the other way, so go ahead and switch the feet position. So bottom leg on.
Bottom leg on top.
Yep. And so same thing, Colin, if you try to like feed that up, just start pulling that back up and try to cross in front of the shoulder and walk in front of the body. Nope, so pat your bottom leg is gonna come high in front to keep him from turning his chest over.
Oh, like this, you mean?
Bottom leg up. Yep, and it feeds to the arm bar on the back.
So you're bringing it high for an arm bar and bring it low for the triangle.
Yep, arm bar or triangle.
Any of the times that I've actually gotten in this position though, like I just get the shoulder right away.
Yeah, it happens so fast. So, Colin, you want to try it?
Sure.
Since this is one of the first times that we've actually shown you or had you try this.
Do you want to explain through it, or do you want me
Just see if you can run
See
it.
if we can do it, yeah.
So pillow at the head, there you go. Drag him back, pop it over the head.
There it is.
So then try playing with the foot positioning a little bit, because this is generally how people will try to escape from it, is they'll start.
Yeah.
I don't like that one as much, because
So go back. So generally I don't get people trying to shove that top arm through the legs. I get them pushing down on a leg, and that's kind of what guides it. There's your triangle.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
but
that-
if his feet were the other way, that's the
Yep.
one where I go through.
Yeah.
So go ahead and feed through. Now push him back to the arm bar.
Just this way.
Yep. There you go. So go back and run that sequence again.
From the beginning?
No, just run it from that.
Yeah.
Because again, if you don't finish this, like it really, the beauty of this move is that it feeds to so many different things. So
Here.
If you're pushing down.
Yeah.
I don't know, they give you the triangle if they push down.
yep.
And you're still in the lock, like you're not switching submission.
You're still applying the pressure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just don't, what I don't want Pat to be able to do is if we swap positions here. And he kind of started doing, I don't want him, swap to the other side, so I roll you towards the camera. Yeah. What I don't want him to be able to do here is start to run and slam this to the ground and not have something in front of the shoulder and start stacking into me. This is generally where I would lose the position.
Yeah. I think that's what I did at first. Right?
It's generally,
Yeah.
trying to run up and come around.
Yeah. Just clear the leg and try to,
Get around.
just like smush into you.
I mean, you could start with your bottom leg up, like it's in a hook for the back.
Yep.
And then switch. Because the thing with when you go for the arm bar, is once they clear it, you've lost the shoulder pressure to finish the lock.
Yeah, so Pat, if you go down for the armbar variation that we're talking about here, I'm just gonna go to this side. I'm gonna stick my leg underneath it. When we're doing this, when I catch this armbar here, and he starts feeding through, so this is triangle, right? He goes belly down. But if he starts turning to his back to the armbar here, then I can still lock this up in the reverse triangle. This is generally where I will end up. I don't know if I'm just feeding naturally to that position, but when somebody feeds to their back, I'll end up in this high leg, and then I'll feed here. Or just finish from back here.
So you're doing the triangle on either side.
I generally find the triangle on either side when I do this. If he turns his shoulders to the sky, or if he turns them down low. This is just kind of like my intermediate stopping point. If I don't finish it here, he goes one way or the other, and I will find the triangle. Cool, the other place that we can do it, Colin? So, Pat, can you just make sure that you're still in frame? So if you're sitting up with me in butterfly here, I'm gonna go for this arm here. So if you grab like the back of my head, this is a pretty typical wrestling, like they bully you down in butterfly, then you start popping up, they push you back, and start passing. So the first thing that I do here is I go foot on the hip, trap the arm, reach up, drag. This leg comes over, feeds in front of the shoulder, and then I'm already starting to switch my grip here and pulling into this same lock that we just had on the back. At this point, the look that I usually get is people will take this hand and put it to the foot, the other foot, and push it down to try to step over and walk around. So what I can do here is my knee is not controlled, so I rise the knee and hips come forward. Generally what the other looks that I'll get is people will start stacking high in, and if I have this lock in, it actually makes it worse when they put pressure down into their shoulder. Just keeping it loose for you, right? So talk to me about when the pressure comes on for you as you start to stack.
There.
Can you feel how your own weight's putting that pressure in?
Yeah, I'm just like, if I just keep stacking and you don't change anything, I'm pretty sure I'll give myself the submission.
Yeah, you will put yourself in the submission here with this, without me even hipping forward.
Yeah.
The other look that I get is people will hold on to this foot and they'll start running around to the left and they'll start trying to escape. Sorry, this way. My left, your, yeah. I can usually kick this leg high and lock it over either for like this oddball triangle where we're kind of like one arm in, one arm out, or if I can do it right, grab my foot, I'll try and kick this high to the sky and lock up my triangle here, switch my feet, and finish this Z-lock kind of Americana from the triangle.
Yeah.
Okay?
Sure. There it is here.
Yep, so bite down.
So you biting down first?
Yep. Just because now I can't pull the arm out in a straight line.
Oh.
Yep. So I don't even strip it yet. Just drag me back with this.
There?
This foot comes all the way over and blocks the shoulder. This stops this run to the left. That knee rises, and kind of this ball joint on the end of your knee kind of fits really well. Right there in your ankle.
There.
Yep. Switch the grips. So right now, tap. You're finishing this more like an Americana from a triangle,
Yeah.
right? So turn your hips out to the right. This way, sorry. I keep saying backward. There you go. Now your hips are behind my shoulder.
And your elbow is on the mat.
This feels much tighter for me.
Yeah, my cue is get his elbow on the mat.
Yeah.
Because it puts so much more torque on his shoulder.
Yep.
Yeah.
So then hips forward. So right now you're still taking this shoulder and rotating it wide to the mat like you're pulling my arm like an Americana. The goal isn't to make this an Americana.
I need to hit that way.
You need to put my face on the mat. So much faster. Because if you start rotating your shoulders out, now I can punch.
And now we're back into the arm.
Yeah, now we're back to like this armbar triangle kind of setup. But if you're here, tap.
And it's so much faster.
Yep. Straight. Boom, boom. Tap. So you're almost, it's not even like you're turning your hips over a little bit and driving through the shoulder. Again, it's kind of like a heel hook.
Yeah, I'm covering your shoulder with my hips and then hooking in.
Yep, so low point, this becomes the high point that gets projected out.
Yeah. But there is a huge difference between when I was opening my hips like I'm Americaning you, and I'm driving into you.
The other way that we can do this gripping sequence here, same kind of setup. I'll hit a 2-on-1, like an arm drag. Foot goes from the hip, pull this out, over top, down.
Tap.
Much shorter path than just trying to rip on it here, like it's Americana. Again, I'm not trying to spin the shoulder out of the joint. This is the American lock that we'll see occasionally where we just externally rotate the arm, lock the elbow in place,
Tap.
and then just hit through. Take this leg high, work my triangle, and here's my American lock, external rotation. But not nearly as effective as this. Some other places that I've found just weird stuff, I'll hit this from bottom side. When we do a kind of like a Kimura grip, so if you're covering me in side control, and I can get this Kimura back behind people. So if I've got your arm, I'll catch this back here. I think we all know, run the hip, jump to the shoulders, right here. But what I've found is like that can run and find it here underneath. So just one of the fun spots that I've been playing with this. Here, pulling it through, sticking the knee inside, and bringing it up. I'll hit this from side control, so if you just go down in side control, like earlier we were showing like an S-mount variation. We'll fight for this underhook, pick them up, spin around. Here's my gift wrap, this Kimura setup. Shift the hips, rock the leg behind the head as I fall back, and drag them up and over and throw it on.
Neon belly variation that you hit me with.
Yep, the knee on belly, you're down. Very similar to the Kimura setup. Again, I'm fighting for this underhook. I'm picking this up, gift wrapping setup here. Again, this is a very common Kimura technique. Sitting back, opening my right leg here as I'm sitting back into this mounted position, so it drops behind his head as I pull him up, and we're coming this way with the camera. Over, this leg now clears in front of the shoulder. Slip my bicep out so the elbow can hit the mat. Pinch down with the knees, across the ankles, high on the body so he can't just foot lock me, and then hip forward. This pinch, you can finish this without the pinch, without the feet being crossed, just here.
Yeah.
Gets much tighter when we cross the legs, pinch, and really clamp the head down into the neck, into the shoulders. The actual attack sequence that we've chained off of this is getting kind of deep, actually, where I'm running this into a triangle, to an armbar, to an omoplata, to a bicep slicer, back to the legs. So in a very short package from Butterfly here, my 2-on-1, I drag this out, I shoot this high, people start going to the foot, to kick this leg high, I have my triangle. The other look that I get is people will start posturing high. Good? So as they posture high, it extends very easily to finish the armbar here. Or what I'll get is people will feed to the omoplata as they start trying to pull this across the body. So depending on the variation of the omoplata escape that they do, leads right back into this same padlock attack sequence. So if we get a forward roll, what I will do is I will just open my leg and sit up into a bicep slicer. I'll start extending my hips and feeding for this far side underhook. Generally, as I do this, people start coming up into me to relieve the pressure on the bicep slicer. I spin around the body, switch my grips, open my leg. As I drag them back, they'll come back up on top of me, and we're back into this. This one's not a hard one to hit. It looks complex because you are doing a lot of switching and stepping over the head, re-gift wrapping, but people sitting up to relieve that pressure on the bicep slicer will give you that far side underhook.
But it's the same setup as the padlock from side control. You're just hitting it on the other side.
Yep.
And they can't defend with the bicep sliced arm.
Yep. So the other one that will get off that same omoplata entry when they pull that arm back across and feed it to replace that. So if they thread their arm underneath, and we might go across the camera so you're going, I just open my legs, slide to here, and I can finish the Americana variations and hit my triangle from up here. I can roll off and finish back into. Here's my variation, my padlock. So let's go back and show that. So rolling back through, back face down, or sorry, on your back. We're here, we're in this mounted triangle that we just hit from them rolling underneath in the omoplata. And we roll across. And we're back in the same variation, just now with a triangle locked up. Hips behind the shoulder, trying to put the shoulder out here, biting back, got my grip on the meat of the palm, and hips just come forward just a little bit. Again, I'm not trying to pull, I'm maxing this out, but it's not about me rotating this down, it's about me pushing my hips here. The other version, if we get to the omoplata, that I'll get off of this setup, not necessarily a padlock, but I'll get when people step up on my hips. I think we all can enjoy when somebody steps up on the hips with the knee. We'll just drop back and into the legs. So, triangle, armbar, omoplata, the same system, but with a couple of those, they can feed right back into the sequence, and we can continue the same attack over and over and over again. Gets pretty frustrating. I don't know,
Yeah.
You got introduced to it for the first time.
Yeah, this weekend.
Yeah. I don't know if you've ever seen anything like this before.
Closest is the Thunder Lock, where they'll get it from, but I've only ever seen that from a back attack.
Sure.
Never from side control or knee on belly.
Yeah, and the other thing with the back attacks here that when we started playing with this, is I won't even really rear naked choke people anymore. I'll just get to my gift wrap position on the back, pick a side, throw this high over the shoulder, pull this up, and finish the move. I don't need to worry about like the thunder lock where they're like protecting and like answering the phone and getting their hand up by their head to be able to get and finish this variation. I don't need to worry about the gripping sequence here to do like this external rotation Americana that we're seeing some people do, like this. I'm just catching the gift wrap, locking the shoulder, popping it over the head, pinching, knees come forward.
Yeah, most of the time when you hit me on this with this move, I had no idea what was happening until my arm was already behind my head.
Same.
Yeah.
Yeah. Pat, you got any insight on it? You've been playing this meet for a couple weeks now.
Just a couple of points, like here, if I start from butterfly, like ideally, I want this 2-on-1 grip, foot on the hip, and ideally I get this leg all the way up over the shoulder, but I've gotten it a couple times where I like fall back into this. I start here as like a 2-on-1, I go like this, and I miss the shoulder, I can still finish it here.
With just the clamp?
Yeah,
pinching the
I
knees?
just pinch on the knees and it's,
Yeah.
it's right there. And they don't even know that there's a submission that's about to be happening.
Yeah.
Like foot on the hip and I just pinch here. Yeah. So it's very, very strong, and just like you said, it seems like people aren't fully aware of what's happening until it's already happening.
Well, it doesn't have any danger sense. Like I don't
Yeah.
like if I'm in butterfly or like having my arm above my head, like it doesn't set off any alarm bells
Right.
until I'm tapping, and it's like, ah, shit.
Yeah.
Alright, that's probably good for this. This is 20 minutes long now.